All right, so let's talk about Bryce. Is Bryce here, by the way? I'm really curious. Oh, V2's up too. Good to know, Gray. Bryce Kanzer. Bryce emailed me through Aaron Melcher, I believe. I think it was through Aaron, whom I talked to at GDC. I've known for a long time, been acquainted for a while. But I don't know if he's here right now. So I'm gonna talk as though he is, because if he watches the VOD, it's kind of better to be talking at him than about him. So Bryce, here we go. Shall we? Let's zoom in. So here's this cool cat right here. Stylish as. And we're going. So first thing is him. Get in touch. The first thing is get in touch. Yo. Bryce is here. What's up, man? Good to see you. Perfect. I'm glad you're here. So first thing is get in touch. Bold. Bold move. Learn more about what I do. So it's either get in touch or learn more. These are options. So I didn't even acknowledge this as a link when I first saw it, because it's the same color as all this stuff. But I moused over it, and there it is. This pick is great. I like this a lot. But this is kind of weird. These two things. So learn more. We have home, what I do, compositions. This is the same page, I assume, right? Sound for visuals, case study? Sound for visuals and case study. I don't know what these are, but we'll find out. Contact. And that's just like our own page. This is your space. Sick. Nice lamp. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm trying to look at your gear. I'm trying to see what you have. Cool. Okay. Compositions, audio for games, sound design, case study. Here again. There's so many. I don't know. I feel like this is. You have a lot of navigation stuff kind of all over the place. I'm just like, what is all this now? We have. Okay, let's chat. We're already on the same page. Like, we're already here. And then we have. That's not your space? Oh, man. That's dangerous. Is it somebody's space that's okay with using their picture? Because Renee Coronado had a recent issue with that on Twitter with 48 kilohertz that many people saw, but that's all right. It needs more compressors, JK. Yeah, there's like several, eh? You can see them all around. A few. Is it Phil? You need to update it. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you have permission to use this picture, man. Hopefully. If not, that's a bit scary. For example, I'm going to drop a little bomb on you guys right now. This is not our space. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm laying it all bare right now. But the whole point of this is just to have a space that gets the point across that we are a collaborative team. We claim nowhere this is our space, and we also have express explicit permission to be saying so. All right? If you have that, then here, I hope you do, because it's bad. I mean, the thing is, we also don't show like all this audio gear, so it's kind of like whatever. It could be like a freaking photo shoot like on a beach, and it'd be a similar kind of thought, you know? But that's all lies. Sorry, Husky. I've been lying to you the entire time. But yeah, this is very implicit that A, this is you, and B, this is your studio. So anyways. Let's talk about just navigation and stuff for a second. This now, so let's chat. A, we're already on the same page. It's a link to the same page. It's redundant. But past that, so we have compositions, audio for video games. I have all these here. So the top links, what I do, compositions, sound for visuals, case study, contact. At the bottom, we have compositions, audio for video games, video/games, sound design, case study, which is different than this, I guess. Sound, case study are different here. And then we have, on top of that, song of the week, live music, my gig schedule, music lessons. Like, there's a lot of stuff here. Being in the sun is bricky as their pictures imply. Oh man. Yeah. It's true. It's so true. Kevin, no. Okay, let's see here. So Unsplash, please. What is this here? What are you showing me? Oh yeah, so John, free use under a CC license. Okay, well that's good, I guess, but still, I don't know. I still have mixed feelings about it still. But yeah, thanks, Graham. So let's start clicking around, I guess. I mean, let's learn about what's happening on this page. It's kind of crazy. Home. It's like this, Bryce Kanzer and home are the same link. I think, right? Home section. Yeah, this is the same link, man. And then what I do, this is the next thing down. Okay, so audio production of video games. I'm a Berklee College music trained sound designer, composer, keyboard performer, rolled up into a one-stop shop audio producer. By day, you'll find me designing audio signal flows, recording source material for Foley, and composing original scores. By night, you can catch me performing at various venues around the New England area. Recording source material for Foley. Okay. And then have questions. Here's that stuff again. What the? So this is like a general footer, I guess, for every page? Or something? And then... So now compositions. Here's some of my composition for film and interactive games. Okay. Testimonial, sure. Poetry in America. So, SoundCloud I hate in terms of reels, and so does Matt, but we'll talk about that in a second. Again, the footer. Okay, so now I don't even want to click this because I feel like it's different than up top. Like sound for visuals is the same as this, I guess. Audio for video, and okay, it's the same link but different words. Okay, sound for visuals. Okay. Film scoring. Zoltar reflects. Music video production. Video game sound design. Have questions. This is again the same. I keep reading it. I keep reading this thing. And then case study. What is this? Music and sound design for an adventure game. How do you create an interactive soundtrack? Spotting session. So okay, for this I've composed music and sound for the classic game of Pokemon. Okay, so Metrazol says the trap of there's the thing in the template, let's fill it up. Squarespace is bad about that. When in doubt, delete. Yeah, man, I feel like this is like way more than you need, Bryce. Okay, so spotting notes, exploration, shot, battle, intro cue, low intensity loop, transition cue, one shot, victory cue, high intensity loop, 8-bit. Cool. This is dating it a bit. That's all right. The first step is to make a list of every audio element. Very true. Sound effects. Just these two things. That's all we need. Internal gibberish loop. Okay. Expiration loop. Sure. Shop. Cool. Battle intro. Okay, and then loop. So yeah, I think overall, my general impression here is much what Matt's is. Case study comes off as a school exercise to me, and honestly, there's not much I care about coming from something for school. School thing says, yeah, so having a school thing, what Matt's saying is having a school thing on your site, and this might not be a school thing, but the point is it looks like one. And if we assume it's a school thing, it's also safe to assume that someone did it because they had to. And like, for example, one thing we see a lot out of Vancouver sound designer demo reels and portfolios is the Need for Speed Shift redesign contest material for that Waves contest. And I've seen it like 1,000 times. And it might be great, but the point is everyone sees it every time. And I have no assurance that you did it because you wanted to. You know, it's like, this doesn't speak to me at all that you did this because you want to do this. And the above is fmod middleware. This is fmod designer, isn't it? Yo. Yeah, sound defs. Look at this. Kill me now. It's another shift redo, says Matt. Okay, F1 designer, sure. Sure, I guess. It's an older software, but we'll carry on. Pokemon case study and has some video redo. This is cool. Now having this, it's effectively a redesign of Pokemon with your music, and that's neat. It's too long, but it's neat. And then the footer again, cool. So back to, well, the bottom again? Like, song of the week? What is this now? Do you actually do a song a week? Where's all the past weeks? We have Zombie Apocalypse. Is this just like the current... Like, is this to encourage people to come back to your site to see your current song of the week or something? Live music. Live jazz, blues, classical, for restaurants. Oh, it's like your side thing. You want to do like live keyboard for things. Okay, that's fine. I'd almost recommend having a separate site for this kind of thing, though, man. Because if you're... Okay, here's the thing. So, Real Talk is a stream aimed at reviewing and critiquing game audio reels, right? So the thing is, I'm going to approach yours like it's a game audio portfolio and or like resume piece, basically. Because the general gist here is that I'm going to assume that you have applied to me, the nameless developer or studio or audio house or whatever, and you're appealing to us as being like, hey, I could work for you. So that said, that's where your feedback's going to come from. Okay, so it's not a matter of adjudicating the quality of the things in your site. It's mainly talking about what your site looks like for somebody looking for someone in game audio. Okay, so sound fair? So that said, this site is a lot of things, and that's it can be okay if you're already really established, but if you're looking to get into something, it's generally kind of a risky move. Hammer Records we had in our site a long time, or not a long time ago, like a couple months back. We had what's his name, James? Is that right? I think it's James, isn't it? James Weeks. James Weeks, what's up? So James Weeks submitted to Real Talk a while back, and we had this to say, like photography, cinematography, audio production, video game composition, instrumental production, film composition, makeup and effects. Like it gets really, really like broad, right? And as a result, you'll probably find you'll be outgunned by somebody who's specializing. And the thing is, I'm not saying you have to specialize, but I'm saying that it might be to your benefit to indicate that you have a solid passion for this thing. And to that end, for me, I mean, it's definitely up for up for debate. But if you sent me this site, I'd be like, okay, so he has like his hands in like a lot of pots. That's fine, and it's good to know people have a lot of skill sets. But if I have your site and I'm looking for somebody in game audio, and I have somebody else's site, and their site's like, I do game audio, and that's it, and it's great, and it has an awesome presentation, and all the things we're talking about as far as criteria go, has all these things taken care of, then you're probably going to be outgunned by that guy, because they are just way more focused, and they're showing that focus and passion, right? So with your live music, this really sounds like an afterthought. Like, I didn't even see this stuff. I could easily not see this stuff, like easily. I mean, I can just go across all this stuff, get to contact, and be like, cool, I guess we're done here, right? And here we go. I wouldn't even know this is part of it. So this stuff, I feel like, is worth having on like its own site or something. I don't know. So if we're talking about game audio for a second, well, this front page, well, there's nothing here to look at. And as far as presentation goes, okay, let's take one more step back. So with Power Up Audio's website, we have analytics that say that people spend approximately 90 seconds on our site, yeah? And I've said this many times in Real Talks. I apologize to those who've heard already, but 90 seconds, and we're generally trying to accommodate for those 90 seconds telling us, a given visitor, everything that we need them to know. And right now, this front page is not that focused. It's sort of like a bunch of stuff, but thankfully it's things that people have heard of, at least some of them, like Darkest Dungeon they've heard of, and like they may have heard of this like iPhone game, or heard of Necrodancer. So they can just do this. The point of it is being like, look at this cool stuff. There's plenty of it. And we don't expect for a moment the one person's gonna like go through each thing, like read all the text. Of course not. But they might do this kind of thing, like click through, oh, Secret Legend cool, or oh, Shadow Hand, whatever. And they'll get the gist. And then they might click through services, glance here, okay, got it. They might see like this orange text, maybe, and they might go to media and like watch one thing. You know? Like, oh, from the FTL, I know FTL, cool, what's this? And then they're gone. Like that's it. And that's totally fine, you know? Like that's great. But it's really important that you're aware of that kind of thing, and you think, okay, well I have assume less, assume 30 seconds, assume 10, and say, how do I get someone to stay on my site in 10 seconds? And right here, you look pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, you're a handsome man. I mean, assuming this is you, is it you? Because this wasn't, but hopefully it's you. And that's great, but the thing is, this kind of stuff, like get in touch, no one's going to get in touch until they have a reason to. And you need to be the person that gives them a reason to. So if you have something like on the front page, like here is, so we're talking about demo reels in general. If we approach your site like it is a game audio website, there is not much real content here to be like, I'm in game audio. And if I go to like what I do in sound visuals, I'm not really totally sure like where I'd find those things. Like what I do is this thing here, and then sound visuals is like, you could probably make that, if it's game audio only, like make it game audio or something. We've got now this video game sound design. If this was your reel, we'll watch this. It's 45 seconds long. We'll do it right now. Okay, so I would stop probably here or so and start skipping through to see if there's anything else, but we'll keep watching the whole thing. And done. Okay, so cheers. You're one of those. Cool music, bro. So, like Matt says, game sound design is your third thing down, which makes me feel that isn't your focus. And I feel like that's a pretty safe assumption at this point, because above that, we've got, even before that, we have compositions here. So we assume this is like fourth thing across, and then also third thing down. So it's pretty squirreled away, you know? And just in terms of what someone will probably assume, it's probably that. It's probably that you're just putting it here because it was maybe some kind of school assignment or something, and they're like, oh, by the way, there's like, here's an optional course of game sound, and you did a project, and it was along with that case study, and it's done. By the way, hey, Rania and Kit Kate and Timur, good to see y'all. But let's now talk about transforming your page into being a game audio focused site, okay? So this is fine, compositions, and sound is fine to have like composition and sound design. But having it focused in design, like in games, is pretty important. And not being film scoring and then music videos and then game sound, right? So what I would have instead is on your home page, we have like the reel, and here it is. In fact, let's bring up a page that I know is pretty good. Like, he could not be with us today, unfortunately, as a New York meetup, but I'll bring up Alex Barnhart's page. It's pretty good in terms of just being very concise and to the point. Excuse me. I think that his design needs some work still, but overall it's a pretty good layout. So we'll talk about this. So this front page, we have what he does. Boom. We have at the top, very concise sound, music, and then other stuff here. We've got the reel. So right away, Bryce, if you arrive on this page, there's not much question as far as what he wants you to do. You know, he wants you to watch this thing. So boom, we're going to watch it, press play, and like right away we've got it starting up, and it's new too. Killer. And And then if I am interested, I can go to the About page, or I can go to the Contact page, or go to his Twitter, or go wherever I can hit him up. But until I have a reason to, I'm not going to do that. Like it's kind of blunt and a bit crass, but no one's ever going to get in touch or even care who you are until they have a reason to. And it's not because you aren't worth their time. It's because they have so many people who think they're worth their time. And a lot probably aren't, just in terms of what they're bringing to the table. Just talking about a bell curve, a lot of them occupy that middle kind of average area, and finding that kind of top percentile can be difficult. So it's not even about whether or not you're good enough. It's about conveying that you're good enough. And really, the biggest problem we see with a lot of reels we get is that people are just not presenting themselves, or people are better than they're conveying. And that's probably the case with you, I'm assuming. It's very likely. So these two things don't need to be here. Throw your reel up like right in the front here. Your reel could be a selection of things you have done. It should generally be an encapsulation of everything you have to offer, all your ambitions, all your current skill sets, your past work history. It should be all those things. And it's very common to have a music reel and or a sound design reel. Having both in one is kind of like a show reel, and it's tough to have that until you have a bunch of content that's kind of all notable and people have heard of. Being like, because then it's no longer like a, hey, listen to my sound. It's more like a, hey, look at all this cool stuff I've worked on, right? So this is now, let's go to your back to your sound page and talk about this for a second. So being third down, we have press play, and so right away there's no title as far as what this is. It says video game sound design. It says this is like, there's some kind of stamp here. What does that say? At iGamesView. So this is like some video from GamesView and or iGamesView.com watermark. So I don't know what this video is from at all. It seems like it was just pulled from somewhere and you redesigned it. That's my guess. It does not say redesign explicitly as far as I can tell anywhere. So that's a bit dangerous because now you're it's kind of inviting assumption, and someone could easily assume that you did this game, and this is the actual game. So there you go. So here's the thing: if you did not do the game, then people might assume that you did the game, and it's like bordering, worst case scenarios like plagiarism. No. But hey, Jan, good to see you, man. And if you didn't do the game, then you should be saying you did the game, because then people know you shipped something. Because shipping something is not easy to do, and doing it at all is completely notable. So having a little title here or something saying, or beneath it even a little sentence saying, this is a game called what? Like I still have no idea what this is called, right? Having something here, like is it in the title maybe? If I go to the page, is it here? Idonia. Okay, yeah, I recall seeing that actually. So that was sound effect by, but not music. So I have nothing but questions, man. I have so many questions about this piece. So here we've got video game sound design, but it's not music. Is that what you're saying? Because what's crazy is like so it's just sound. Wow. So otherwise in the page, it's like really music focused. We have a picture of you on the front page playing piano. We have what I do is audio production, sure, but Berklee College of Music, and then we have compositions, and then we have even the sound for visuals. We've got like film scoring, which is again not sound design. We've got music video production. My immediate assumption was that you did music on this thing as well. It's not quite that far of a stretch, So now the thing is, now I'm adjudicating your ability based on this music, which is maybe false, or it seems to be false so far. So I think in terms of presentation, you seem to be a lot more concise about what actually is your work and what you want people to be looking at, So yeah, Matt says, for better or worse, that music will be credited to you. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, cheers, AV Ultima. Good to see you in here. What's up? And Friendly Popo says, unfortunately, very few relevant people will be interested in what I do and my case study and live stuff. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, so it's generally a matter of the whole, like, scripting that narrative, saying, what do you want people to see? And if it's worth their time past that point, they will stay. And if it's not, then they will thank you for not wasting their time, It'll be fine. So, okay, let's talk about your sound design, though, since this is a sound design demo reel.
More ashes.
Hey, Ghost
More
City,
death.
what's up?
More disappointment.
So, let's talk about sound design. And you'll notice I turned this down. it's a bit telling. It's pretty loud and abrasive, your sound design, but I'll leave it full volume for the purpose of this talk. But I'll turn off my compressor. No more sidechain. So my very first impression right away was that the sync is really loose, and I don't know if that's your fault or if that is an implementation thing on their end of the developers. But just in general, for example, we have this start. And everything seems kind of late. Like, it all seems like it's coming in late. We have this like whoosh, whoosh, but it's way after the swing happens, And further, just in terms of presentation, if you're showing your sound design, it's generally a good idea to not show it with music, because what ends up happening is the music, or, well, how do you say this best? Basically, if you want to have a certain element of your ability under the microscope, then having more things in the way is usually a disservice, because I want to know kind of what you've done specifically. And if there's tons of music, it tends to be stomping all over your sound. But yeah, what Matt says, so sounds like a Flash game to me. Not much depth, simplistic, very much what you see. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's very like, and it sounds a bit like it was kind of pulled from a library and dropped in and synced up. That's fine. Like the little kind of bubbling of the fart attack, which what it looks like, right? Is that what this is? Seems pretty farty. Yeah, so Friendly Popo is a bit of a touchy subject. Yeah, so Matt and I have varying opinions about this. We said this earlier in the stream, actually. So we have varying opinions about whether it's okay to redesign your own game. It is my feeling that your design should be kind of the envisionment of what you wanted to do. And if there's no reason that your design shouldn't work in game, like if it's just strictly they messed it up, then sure. But if you're doing things like predicting impacts that the game couldn't possibly know are going to happen, then that's a problem, obviously, and someone's going to see through that. But I don't know. It's touchy. I think being honest about it, it's kind of worthwhile too. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with this redesign. It's like it's so. Yeah, it's very lifeless, man. I mean, the hits are just like, like it's very just sort of what you see is what you get, and that's it. And no worries, Popo. Cheers. I appreciate the discussion. And like, did you do that your turn sound, or is that part of the music? I don't know. Yeah, so Matt, see, this is why it's a touchy subject. So I think you really need to message that you've improved a shipped product, and it's very easy to take that as lies. Yeah, okay. It's certainly, knowing that it's controversial is kind of important. So, I mean, if you're doing it, it better be for damn good reason. But otherwise, just showing like that you shipped it. As Matt and I have said it again and again, we're generally more forgiving of questionable sound in shipped products, because somebody said this is fine. And hell, like we worked on a game, like this casino game a long time ago, with Power Up it was in Flash, and there was like horrible syncing problems with the reels spinning, and we couldn't fix it. Like, we tried, and I'm playing online being like, this sounds like just garbage, but oh well, it's out there and people are playing it and they're doing okay, so whatever. But I wouldn't show that on my reel, Anyways, so yeah, this has got like a lot of problems, but the biggest one is simply presentation. Like, just I don't know, or rather, I didn't know what this was or what you did, and more importantly, what you didn't do. And further, this looks to be your only thing for video game sound design. So right away, my assumption is that you're like not that into it, And if you are, then I think it's important that you convey that. Okay. So yeah, it didn't talk that much about the reel itself because there kind of wasn't really a reel, but this stuff like film scoring and we'll talk about the composition thing too. So if you want to do or to show your music and show that you're interested in game sound, I think that what you might consider doing is to take your music that you've written with games in mind and resync it against games you did not work on as a game rescoring. So the thing is, your SoundCloud links, and I'll get to chat in a second, guys. Thanks a lot. Your SoundCloud links, A, they look like everyone else's SoundCloud links. They're forgettable. And B, no one's going to listen to your full, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5, 7, 8, like 12, 13 minutes now, 15. So we have like 20 minutes of music here. No one's going to listen to all of it. This is not going to happen. There's just too many people out there who do what you do, and it's completely unfeasible to listen through all their stuff. If you have a reel that has like a minute showing like, hey, I'm the real deal, then yes, people might drop in and say, oh cool, I'll put this on the background while I'm working. This guy seems like he knows his shit. Like that's what you want to be doing, because otherwise you have no chance. So what you do with this is you take a visual element, like you take a game like, I don't know, it doesn't even matter at all, like some game that you like, or some games that resemble games you want to work on, and you put your music against them, and you just have a visual, like, hey, here's a game that I love to work on, or I love to have worked on, and here's some music I wrote for it. Isn't that pretty cool? And it's way more engaging, and it gives a better idea of your gaming sensibilities, and your aptitude for kind of what's appropriate for a given game and a given sequence. Your case study is helpful for that, but again, it's very schooly, and there's a whole lot of personal kind of creative vision and personal sensibilities, like I said, that go into it further than here is like my Pokemon breakdown, So I'd fully recommend doing that. It seems like you have a lot of music to show off, and I think you could totally be putting that against anything. I could find a game that, like this Earth, Sea, and Sky track, and probably go against it nicely. You totally can. So yeah, Matt says no context in music is a huge problem. You could write great music that you think goes the one thing. I totally disagree with that. And if that's not in sync, that's a problem. Agreed. So let's get back to the chat for a second here. Sorry, guys. So Popo said the biggest problem, I think, is that there is no reel. That is the biggest problem, yeah. I mean, it does sound a bit harsh, but it's just the case. It's totally true. And in terms of showing your work and showing yourself kind of promptly and concisely, it's just not happening. The reel is what that's for, and the fact that there is not a reel on the page right now is kind of where the problem lies, because you've got there's a lack of focus for what you want people to do when they arrive on your site. So and then down to Graham, what do you think? Would you include that out of sync game on your reel if you didn't have much to work with, or would you try and find other stuff? Well,
1%.
Hey, Reality O. That's kind of back to the whole thing. Like, do you fix work that's shipped? I mean, it's if you can. It seems like you like take the whole timeline and like just do this, and it's now fixed. So maybe that's worth it. I don't know. That gets into the whole realm of what Matt was saying about, improved design. But the fact is that whole design piece has more problems than just sync. So it's not like the sync is the only issue. If it was an obvious issue with sync, then like maybe I just go and like whatever, call it a day. But yeah, it's a contentious conversation. But anyway, the fact that you came on a Real Talk says you're more into this than you're showing, I feel. Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, Bryce, the fact is you got in touch with me via email and requested my opinion from a stance of like game audio aptitude, I hope. And the fact that you did that is really telling me and Matt that you're more into this than your site is conveying. It says that the whole like 4 over and 3 down thing is kind of an issue. And I would assume on your page that you're not that into games. That's kind of like, I'll do games, I guess. But
It's not personal.
Edora,
just
you were not
business.
following us already? What the heck, man? It's fine. Okay, so yeah, Bryce, if you have any questions or anything, man, like let me know. And if you want to follow up and do like another pass on your site or something, let me know, of course. But yeah, right now, our general sense is that your presentation says you're not that into games. And if you aren't, that's totally fine. But just be aware that it's obvious, you know. And if you are, then it's not clear and it's got to be fixed, so that you're being honest with your visitors on your site. And as far as yeah, we can talk about material selection and content quality and stuff, but just really fast to glaze over it. Material selection, like Matt says, show what you think your music should go with, because right now your material is mostly just music, and context is huge as far as hiring for game audio. For content quality, and you know what? I'm being kind of rude. I apologize. Let's like listen to a bit of your music too, and so this is here for film and games. So right now, like, I don't know what's for games, what's not. Like I guess Zombie Apocalypse is probably for games, but let's see here. We'll listen to a bit. So right away, this is pretty cinematic, you know? Like it's changing a lot from moment to moment. So maybe you should write for a trailer for, like, I don't know, Telltale's The Walking Dead or something like that. And maybe that'd be a good spot for that to occupy, you know? Earth and Sky. And here's your home theme for some JRPG or something. Or a village theme. Yeah, so like you're good, man. I mean, it's not as we suspected, you know, like you're better than your site is currently telling me. So you could totally just take some of your music and find something that fits and pick like 15 seconds. And again, I don't sit here and pretend to say that showing 15 seconds of your music is all I need to get a full picture of your ability. And of course, music is all about like dynamics and ebb and flow over time and such. But the point is that your reel should be quick and concise to give people a reason to care further than that. You know? Because if they hear that little track, like a little ditty from the JRPG shot in your reel, they'll say, that was awesome, and they'll go listen to it. They'll go find it. Like, it's going to happen. So, yeah, your site is, Matt says, in plain terms, your site is doing you a disservice. It's true. Absolutely. So, yeah, Bryce, man, of course, let me know via email or whatever if you have any more questions or clarification you want from us. But that's our general gist, or that's our impressions, rather, and that's the gist for you. So, hopefully that was somewhat helpful. And, yeah, I hope you can kind of find a way to get your site a little more attuned to achieving the ends you want it to achieve for you. All right, so thank you very much, man, for that submission. And as always, thank you to the chat as well for your input. Always very appreciated. So let's turn down my freaking Chrome window back to like 25 and press play again.